Grace to you, good people all over the world. Colossians chapter 1, verses 9 on your bread of life today. And the title for your bread is Insight into the Ways and Purposes of God. That's our title for your bread. And I'm going to read the Amplified Version. The Bible says, "For this reason, we also, from the day we heard of it, have not ceased to pray and make special requests for you, asking that you may be filled with a full, deep, and clear knowledge of His will in all spiritual wisdom." Then he amplifies that spiritual wisdom by saying, "in comprehensive insight into the ways and purposes of God, and in understanding and discernment of spiritual things." The comprehensive insight into the ways and the purposes of God. That is spiritual wisdom. And so that's what I want to share with us today. Insight into the ways of God and insight into the purposes of God. How do these two work hand in hand? So when we talk about spiritual wisdom, we are talking about acquiring a thorough understanding of the ways in which God works. I so much believe that it is important for us to understand how God works. What's the mind of God? How does He work? Because many of us just know Him from the head knowledge, but never understand the heart of God. Because if you get to understand how He works, you first have to understand the nature of God. And we read His nature through the Word. So it is important you understand the nature of God if you want to understand how He works. And you need spiritual wisdom. So, the ways in which God works, that by what Christ has done, He has made known to us the knowledge of His will into the mysterious ways and purposes of God. You have to look at Jesus Christ. You've got to look at the finished work. You've got to look at the work of Christ. This is the work of God that we may believe. So everything about God and His nature and His ways is centered on His Son, Jesus Christ, and what He has done. So by divine thought, purpose, that anticipated outcome that is intended, that's purpose, that anticipated outcome that is intended, gives us clarity by revelation on how a thing is done. That's the way. Okay, so I've defined for you purpose and the way. All right. So it's very important for us because how a thing is done, okay, the ways of God, determines the end of the matter, the purpose of God. I hope you're getting me. I hope you're getting me. So this is what our theme text is saying, that comprehensive insight into the ways and the purposes of God. So we need a perfect balance. You need to know the ways of God and need to understand the purpose of God. That is very key. Many of us are half-baked. We are torn betwixt. We can't tell the ways of God and we cannot tell the purpose of God. But let me tell you something. Listen, purpose helps to guide your planned action with the ultimate end in mind. It aligns you to begin something knowing the end from the very beginning. Yes, you want to get married, but to what end? You see that? But God through scriptures has shown us His ways and purpose when it comes to marriage. You must understand the way of God in marriage and the purposes of God in marriage. Now, many of us don't even understand this too. But we want to get married. We're believing God for a husband or believing God for a wife. So, listen. The ways of God is the how, and the purposes of God is the why. And for us to be successful in all our endeavors, we need to know both. You understand? It is wisdom then to have the end of a thing in mind. That is, I want to sort of illustrate it. That is, first go to the end of that thing. Yes, you want to get married, but first go to the end of that thing. Experience it in the spirit, because marriage is not an assumption. Marriage is a revelation. Experience it in the spirit, and after the experience, come back in the physical realm to live out that same experience by faith. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So friends, all I'm saying, begin with the purpose of God in mind, then come and walk in the way towards the end, because it is the way God works. And that is what Paul is saying, spiritual wisdom, the comprehensive insight into the ways and the purposes of God. What's the way of God in marriage? What's the purpose of God in marriage? Go to the end of the thing. Why do you want to get wealthy? Why do you want wealth? Go to the end of it, then come back and begin to walk into the way that leads you. And as you are in the way, let me tell you something. God will lead you to the end in mind. So here is spiritual wisdom, the comprehensive insight into the ways and the purposes of God. And once you have those two, you have a perfect balance that can guarantee something about your life, that the best is yet to come. And God bless you.